Welcome to the lesson on the overview of renewable energy. In this lesson, we will provide you with a brief overview of the renewable energy sources and the importance to help power battery electric vehicles, abbreviated as BEVs, in a cleaner and more sustainable way. Let us look at our lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the need for different types of energy sources in the context of environmental and energy challenges. Next, you will be able to identify and differentiate between renewable and non-renewable energy sources. Then, you will be able to identify the advantages of using renewable energy to power BEVs. Later, you will be able to describe the characteristics that make renewable energy sustainable. Finally, you will be able to compare renewable and alternative energy sources and their roles in reducing environmental impact. Why do we need different types of energy sources? We need different energy sources to help protect the environment and solve energy problems. Fossil fuels like oil and gas are running out and cause pollution that leads to climate change. Using clean, renewable energy like wind or solar power can help us use less fossil fuel and reduce harm to the planet. BEVs are better for the environment than cars that run on gas or diesel. They don't produce pollution from the exhaust, which means cleaner air and fewer health problems. They also don't release greenhouse gases while driving, which helps fight climate change. Using many kinds of energy, especially renewable ones, also makes our energy supply safer and more reliable. It means we are less affected by oil shortages or price changes. This helps make transportation more stable and better for the future. So, what is renewable energy? Renewable energy comes from sources that don't rely on fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. Unlike fossil fuels, which are limited and release harmful gases that harm the environment, renewable energy is clean and can be naturally replenished. For example, solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, and biomass energy. These sources can generate electricity, which is used to power BEVs. So, what is non-renewable energy? Non-renewable energy comes from sources that cannot be replaced quickly and will run out over time. Non-renewable energy comes from fossil fuels or natural resources that are limited. These energy sources cannot be replaced quickly by nature. They produce greenhouse gases when used, which add to climate change. Examples of non-renewable energy are coal, oil, natural gas, and nuclear energy. Now that we have briefly covered renewable energy, let's look at some of its main characteristics and compare it with non-renewable energy. Renewable energy is energy that can be naturally replenished so it doesn't run out. Examples include solar, wind, water, geothermal, and biomass energy. Non-renewable energy, like coal, oil, and natural gas, will eventually run out because it can't be replaced quickly. Renewable energy is more sustainable than non-renewable energy because it doesn't deplete resources or harm the environment. It can meet today's needs without affecting future generations. Renewable energy is also more widely available because it's found all over the world and its costs have been going down. Non-renewable energy, on the other hand, is becoming more expensive. Renewable energy also causes less pollution because it doesn't release harmful gases or other pollutants. What is alternative energy? Alternative energy is any type of energy that does not come from fossil fuels like coal, oil, or natural gas. It includes renewable energy like solar, wind, and hydropower, and non-renewable sources like natural gas and nuclear energy. Nuclear energy does not release much carbon, but it can still harm the environment. There are concerns about nuclear waste, safety, and how the materials are taken from the ground. Because of this, strict rules and safety measures are needed. Some types of alternative energy, like natural gas, may not last forever. They can run out or cause pollution, so they may not be good long-term solutions. Now that we've briefly covered renewable and alternative energy, let's look at their distinguishing features and compare them. Renewable energy comes from natural sources that never run out, while alternative energy is any energy that replaces traditional fossil fuels like coal and oil. Both categories include solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, and biomass. But alternative energy also includes nuclear power, hydrogen, and natural gas. Renewable energy is generally more sustainable because it naturally replaces itself without causing much harm to the environment. Alternative energy can be less sustainable overall since some types, like nuclear power, create waste problems that can last a long time. When it comes to availability, renewable energy sources like hydropower and geothermal are constantly available, but solar and wind depend on weather conditions. Similarly, Some alternative energy sources like nuclear are constantly available regardless of weather, while others share the same limitations as certain renewables. The main difference to remember is that all renewable energy is also alternative energy, but not all alternative energy is renewable. For example, nuclear power and natural gas are alternative energy sources, but they aren't renewable because their fuel sources will eventually run out. Let us look at our lesson summary on the overview of renewable energy. Different types of energy sources are needed to protect the environment, reduce pollution, and ensure a stable and reliable energy supply for the future. Renewable energy such as solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, and biomass are clean, naturally replenished, and help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and pollution. Non-renewable energy like coal, oil, natural gas, and nuclear power come from limited resources, produce pollution, and contribute to climate change. Alternative energy includes both renewable and some non-renewable sources, for example, nuclear and natural gas, that serve as substitutes for traditional fossil fuels but vary in sustainability and environmental impact. BEVs help fight climate change by producing no exhaust emissions, and when powered by renewable energy, they offer an even cleaner transportation option. Thank you.